Okay. This is the big one, Marty. The one I've been waiting for all my life. No truer words have ever been spoken. I have always wanted a big boy ever since I was a little kid. In fact, this is the one from St. Louis at the National Museum of Transportation, which I went to many times as a kid. Always wanting a big boy, and today we are gonna unbox one from Kato. Here it is, just arrived. I'm ready to go. Now, I started collecting model trains as an adult about 5 years ago, and Big Boy was always on the list to get. It was always very expensive, as one can imagine. I was always eyeing up the Athearn one, and almost pulled the trigger last year to buy it new. I didn't want to buy it used as a second-hand market. For something like this, I wanted to go all in and get it new. So that was kind of what I was eyeing up. But then I heard Kato was coming out with one, and it kind of made me go, I got a lot of other Kato stuff, so it will actually work with that quite nicely. The couplers for the Athearns don't really connect well, from what I can tell. So I'd have to deal with that. Let me fix this. Sorry, it's hard to cut and chop at this, or cut and talk at the same time. Didn't know what I needed to do because I always wanted the Athearn one, but then Kato announced they were coming out with theirs, and I ended up, getting that. So, also, before I fully unbox, now that it's ready to take a peek, this was pretty much the second train I got, was the 844, which is also from Kato. This one looks amazing, but the operation ability is not the greatest. And I just noticed when I was putting this on, a traction tire came off again for like the umpteenth time. You can see it there. It just problems after problems. So I hope Kato figured it out and made the big boy less error prone than this thing. If you're curious how this one and all the problems I've dealt with it, you can look up the review I did on an earlier video. But this was train number 2 when I purchased. Everyone thinks it's a big boy because they don't know any better when they come over. They're like, ooh, big boy. I'm like, no. But I actually have one now, so we'll compare, we'll get it going, we'll unbox and see what this beauty brings. Like I said, wanted this forever. There it is. You don't, interesting, you don't get a window. Found a good deal. It's just open too, I guess. That's why I pulled the trigger. I actually got it for $269, which is pretty darn good. I was kind of looking them up, what they were going for, and that seems to be a pretty good price. Kato retails them for $399. This is the non-DCC version, so I'm already $130 under that. It just came out like last week or this week or something, so pretty cool, pretty special to buy something that new. Usually I'm not like first out of the gate or anything, because I'm always looking for those deals, and I don't really care about anything that just came out other than this guy. So here it is. That's what it should look like. That's what it actually looks like, This is none like any other Kato box I've ever had. There's your model number. 4014 is the same road name that this one's modeled after. You can read the text on the side. It also has nothing on the back. Alright, let's open it up and see what it actually looks like. I have not seen this yet. This is my first reveal. Ah yes, paperwork. Interesting that they have the magnetic strip couplers, which I thought were the non-Kato ones that I don't like. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. What's all we got here? How to exchange the basic pilot with the double heading pilot. That must be if you want to put a coupler on from the front. All right, there's the model itself, all hidden away still. Let me unpack it some more. Ooh, it's all snapped in. That is a big boy. All right, still all plasticky. Big reveal. This looks like a little piece that kept it from sliding around. There it is. Take it all in. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. The back tender, first glance, looks exactly the same as that one. No difference. Except there's a little red part there. What does that say? A zoom. Fire hose only. Pretty cool. This one also has a articulating. Does this one have it too? I never noticed. Yeah, it does. Same thing. All right, lengthwise, you can already tell it's a decently longer than the 844. A lot of cool bits up front, as you'd expect. It looks pretty nice. Boiler. Of course, this is a, let me try to add it up, a 4884 wheelbase. Insanity. I'm kind of honestly thinking now that I have this, I kind of want to upgrade that to the Greyhound one. I think that would be really cool looking, and since these are very similar in color scheme, you know, I kind of want to break it up a little bit. And I might, this is blasphemy if you saw my review video, I might put the side plates or the smoke deflectors back on again to break it up, just to be a little bit different. Because, I mean, this just looks like a slightly bigger version than that. Obviously, there's more bits and parts and stuff on this beast, but that's kind of where my head is right now. All right, let me see if I can get it out of this and onto there so we can take an even more deeper look at it. Okay, so right out of the gate, this was not connected. So you have to snap that up into a little hook, it looks like, to pop it in there. Clearly there's some power going back and forth between the tender and the front, but good to know that that's kind of snaps off, and I guess so you can easily handle it a little bit better. So let me get that back on and then we'll go from there. All right, well, if you thought that 844 was big, it is like a tiny toy compared to the big boy behind it. I don't know if the video does it justice, but it is just night and day between the two, even though, like I said, it's a very similar look. But the big boy is just massive compared, right, sitting right next side to it. It barely fits on that 9-inch Kato standard piece of track. You can see end to end, it's very tight, but it does fit. The question, of course, will be, does it actually turn around the track that I have? It says it can withstand an 11-inch radius. I believe all my turns are that or more, so I think we're good there. I can already tell, like, the look of the thing is just obsolete, or making this thing look obsolete compared to, you know, hand over fist. So let me move this out of the way. And we can dive in a little bit closer here to some of these details, which are exquisite. I was looking this up when I was putting them on. Look how many little bits and pieces there are. Even like this part in between the wheels, if you can tell. There's like that little plastic bit that's like just hanging out. And of course there's so many wheels. It took forever to get back on, and I don't think I'm gonna get it right here, so I'm just gonna kind of leave it like so. Yeah, this thing's gonna look awesome in action for sure. And we're gonna get to that here in a second. But for right now, you know, here it is, the big boy. In the flesh. And something really that I've been looking for the last 5+ years, trying to work a deal and get one in my hands. And the fact that Kato came out with one, you know, like I said, I really would have liked that Athearn one. It looks amazing and it looks high end, but you know, all my other stuff is Kato, so I got the UP Excursion lined up, if you can tell, ready to go. That's Kato. It just was a better fit. I really like Kato. They're obviously really high end. I don't have any Athearn, so I can't, you know, I'd have to dive in deep if that was my route. But it is not to be. It is to be a Kato, which is what we're going with. So more little details, if I can keep it in focus so you can see how cool it looks. And of course in motion, we're gonna see this thing really fly. We're doing it right, of course, for this special occasion. I loaded up some dual action 4K big boy footage here. So we're really good. This is a good place to be right now. Yeah, so let's get this puppy on the track and rev her up, and let's fire up them engines. All right, let's see how easy this thing is to pop on the track. The 844 is always fairly difficult, so I'm not holding my breath for this guy. Let's see how this can work. So I need like a look, it like goes way off the rear railer. I need one like twice as big. But no matter, we're gonna slide it back on and get this sucker in line. And that looks pretty good. All right, cool. So one of the problems I had with the 844 was the lips on these big wheels were super tiny. These look somewhat similar. If anything, a little bit bigger, so maybe that will help. Yeah, I noticed too that it comes with 4 traction tires, 2 on each set of trucks. So it should have some great pulling power so long as those traction tires stay on, unlike its predecessor. Let me connect up the cars. Bam! You're ready to roll. And it looks pretty awesome, just as is on the track, of course. There you go. Pretty awesome. I think it's time to fire it up. So let me set this down. I have DC, so I don't have anything fancy, therefore I didn't get the fancy version, but this has 2 other versions. One that has DCC pre-installed, and I think the higher end has sound too. I think. But I got the basic because that's all I need. Alright, so crunch time. Let's see this sucker in action. There it goes! That looks awesome. Gotta love the double wheel action. And the first turn is a success. Oh, that's a wide swing. I hope it doesn't hit anything as it goes around here. I haven't tested it with a big boy yet, the layout and how everything connects up. So, I got my light on. I don't know if that looks weird or not, but it was kind of dark in here, so I'm trying to make sure you see everything. There's the swing radius. Crazy. Not going too fast yet, but we can crank it up here in a little bit. Big front light. That's cool. Nice and quiet too. Oh yeah. Catching it on the flip side here. I hope it doesn't hit these houses. Nice, I didn't hear anything ting. That looks awesome, come on. That is so great. Beautiful. And here it comes across the bridge. You tell me, does it compare to the real thing? I'm thinking yes. Alright, well that's a completed circuit. So at least it didn't derail anywhere. That's always a good sign for sure. How slow can she go? Because that is pretty darn slow. And whisper quiet. I'd be able to go slower. Here's a more classic look. As it zips on by. So awesome. All right, to end this one, how about some double barrel action here? Here we go. Why did it stop? Oh no, they crashed. That was not foreseen. But I probably should have, because most of the turns that I have are double track, so they're evenly spaced as they should, but these two turns are not, and I thought I had them separated enough, but apparently not, because there's some crashing going on. Oops. No matter. I'll do a full review of this sucker here at some point. Get some light. First impressions are pretty darn positive. I'm happy with it. It looks great. It works great too. That's a big plus. Like I said, no problems yet with any derailments or anything. All the wheels appear to be still on the track. Nothing catastrophically broke. So yeah, we got ourselves a big boy. And it's pretty darn cool so far. I love it. I'm gonna fix whatever I got going on here, get these things rolling again, and enjoy my evening running some trains around and just taking it all in. Peace out. Stay tuned for more.